Let's get it going. Use hashtag AB to have your Antonio Brown questions answered live here on the Raiders Report. So if you're watching us on Facebook, if you're watching us on YouTube, all you got to do is use hashtag AB to have your Antonio Brown questions answered. So I'm only answering questions about Antonio Brown. I don't want anybody else, okay? We're talking about Mr. Big Chest, and that's it. Speaking of Mr. Big Chest, he did something pretty ballsy and just flew in on a hot air balloon. I mean, that's what you're going to get with Antonio Brown, right? Like, you're going to get the diva. And if flying in a hot air balloon is fun for you, like, that's awesome. But did you guys like it? Did you like the fact that he flew in on a hot air balloon? I want you to type Y for yes, type N for no. Like, I'll tell you what right now. There's a lot of things I would rather do than fly in a hot air balloon. I'll be honest with you guys. I try to be transparent. I'm scared to death of heights. Like, I can ride a roller coaster, but if you put me on a Ferris wheel, I'm freaking out. You put me in a hot air balloon? Oh my lord, I don't even know what I would do. I'd probably pass out. So, did you guys like the hot air balloon entrance? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I see a bunch of no's in the comments section. I also see a bunch of yeses as well. Let me know. I'm just curious. So, one of the reasons why I think a bunch of you guys are saying no is because it took today for Antonio Brown to finally make his debut. Now, he did make his debut, and from what it sounded like, he did really well. The only guy that he struggled against a little bit today was LaMarcus Joyner, and I'll actually say that's a little bit more pat on the back to LaMarcus Joyner. So he's been dealing with apparently some minor injuries. I think it's more or less just AB being AB, taking some time off. I will say this, the one thing that I did like that AB has done at training camp is he has made sure to make friends with the fans. He's taking pictures, he's signing autographs, he wants to be a big part of the nation. And like I said, the hot air balloon thing, it's fun, but it's only going to be fun if you show up. So AB, that one's still TBD. All right, remember how I said hashtag AB? Jeff Rogers gets it. And I'll be honest with you guys, Jeff is one of my most loyal watchers. So Jeff, shout out to you, man. This guy tailgates for the Raiders Report, and I'm all about it. Do you think AB will make it through the season without having one of his infamous sideline rants? If he does, how should Gruden handle it? Honestly, no. I think he will have his infamous sideline freakouts. It's just part of it. But I also hate the idea of people getting upset at NFL players for having these blow-ups, right? I hate the idea of people getting upset when NFL players, to be honest, like, fight. Like, I hate that certain things are celebrated in other sports. Like football, let's make it fun. Like in baseball, I wish we could bat flip more. In hockey, people celebrate fights. If it's entertaining, that's what I want. If AB's freaking out on the sideline because he's not getting his catches or because he's losing, good. I'd be upset too if I was losing. I get upset when I lose over anything. I don't want to lose in checkers, chess. It doesn't matter. If you're losing and you're upset, good, show emotion. I'd be much more upset if they're losing by 30 points and Antonio Brown's just sitting there like, what's for dinner? Let's figure it out. So, Jeff, it's a good question, but yeah, I think he's going to get upset. Let's go to Brandon Pinnaker. Hashtag AB, good job. We will see a screaming match between AB and Jon Gruden like we saw in Tampa with Keyshawn and Gruden. So that's actually a really good comparison because Keyshawn's another example of just a big-time receiver. Now, I don't think Keyshawn was ever as good as what AB is or at AB's peak, but Keyshawn was a diva. Like, let's not hide the fact that Keyshawn Johnson was an absolute diva. Also, speaking of just like crazy shit that I've seen, have you guys seen the video of Jon Gruden with the Philadelphia Eagles from like 1996? Like, shout out to James for sending me this tweet. He's got a visor put on backwards. Like, he looks like he's straight out of Compton, Jon Gruden. If you guys haven't seen it, please go check it out because it is for Chucky Heads effing hilarious. Let's go to Cali King here on YouTube. Will Antonio Brown have more touchdowns than Williams? I'm going to guess that you mean Tyrell Williams. That's my guess there. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to go with the more touchdowns for Antonio Brown than Tyrell Williams. When I did my projections, I had Antonio Brown coming out to about 9 touchdowns and Tyrell Williams coming out to about 6 touchdowns. I think Tyrell Williams is a fun player. Sure, he's a lot bigger, but when it comes down to it, the Raiders are going to target Antonio Brown more. He's going to have more receptions, and as much as I think Tyrell Williams is a fun player, he's not Antonio Brown. Like, Antonio Brown is arguably the best wide receiver in the NFL. That's why I put out on Twitter the other day, who's the best wide receiver in the AFC West? like for Antonio Brown and take a picture front and back of your credit card if you think it's anyone else because it's Antonio Brown. So it's a good question. If you want to comment below how many touchdowns you think Antonio Brown will have, I'm all about it. If you want to comment how many touchdowns you think Tyrell Williams will have, guess what? I'll be looking. Let's go to Jason Clark, and you guys know what I'm going to say. So I want you guys to comment below. If you're a loyal watcher, you'll know what I normally say when somebody like Jason Clark comes up on screen. So comment below what you guys think I'd say. You think his injury is an issue to defensive progression? I guess I'll say it from this. The more Antonio Brown is on the field, the better our defenders are going to get. There are not too many receivers that I think are a better competition for younger players and for all players in general. Like, if you could ask me, would I rather go up against Antonio Brown or, like, you know, Tom Downey? I'd rather go up against Antonio Brown because I know I'm going to get better. When you go up against Tom, it's like, yeah, I might win 100 out of 100 times, but am I really getting better? No, I really don't think so. Now, you guys like my shirts? I would imagine. Now, I don't look like that guy. That guy is freaking yoked. But I still think I look pretty good in these shirts. So I want to give a shout out to Raider Nation Store on IG. Go follow them at Raider Nation Store. And if you guys like the shirts that I wear, all the shirts that I wore the entire month of July and all the shirts that I'm going to wear the entire month of August are from Raider Nation Store. So go check out their shirts, www.raidernationsstore.net. And if I can maybe get yoked like that guy on screen, I'm going to try to do it. So, DM me the word swag, okay? If you guys are like, one shirt is great, but I want a bundle of shirts, I can get you 3 shirts and then a whole bunch of other stuff, right? Like, you like the flag that I put on my IG, you want a pop socket on your phone, I want you to DM me the word swag, okay? But here's the thing, okay? Before you freak out, 3 shirts, a flag, a pop socket for $50. Sound pretty good? If that offer sounds good to you, DM me the word swag on Instagram at Mitchell Renz 365. Oh, let's go to one of my dudes, Bobby Millette. Bobby, just so you know, I will be back in San Diego this weekend. So if you want to grab beers again, you let me know. How many games will it take for Antonio Brown to show his diva side? I'll say this. How many games? It could take a quarter. Like, they're going up against the Denver Broncos week 1, a rivalry game. And if Antonio Brown, who I know does not like the Denver Broncos, heck, he had feuds with the Broncos players back when he played with the Steelers. If he can't get it done against the Broncos, we're going to see the diva side of him right away. And again, I'm okay with the diva side of Antonio Brown. If you're going to give me 100 receptions, over 1,250 yards, and 10 touchdowns like you've basically done the last 6 years, I'm okay with being like a diva. Like, it's one of the reasons why, all right, this is going to sound bad. You guys are going to get a little bit light into my dating life. If she's cute, I can deal with she's a diva. If she's not cute, I don't want to deal with it. So that's just part of it. But how many games will it take, do you guys think, for Antonio Brown to show his diva side? I think it could be 1. It could be a quarter. But if the Raiders are winning, I actually think Antonio Brown might be a lot more quiet than what you guys think. Next question coming in here from Brady Bake. Comment below what I'm going to tell Brady Bake to do. And if, Brady, you don't know what I'm going to tell you to do, then you're not a subscriber. Make sure you subscribe. Will Antonio Brown lead the league in receiving yards? Wow. Spell check, and that's coming from me. So, do I think he's going to lead the league in receiving yards? No, I do not think so. I just don't think the Raiders offense wants to do that, despite the fact that Antonio Brown has been incredible. Like, great job, producer Alicia, throwing this together. Like, he's been insane, okay? There's one of the reasons why I think he is regarded as one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. But if you look, over the last 3 years, Antonio Brown is second in receiving yards to only one player. That's Julio Jones. Julio Jones and Antonio Brown are the only 2 wide receivers the last 3 years to have over 4,000 receiving yards, okay? So, like, think about that, because that's pretty insane. I think, personally, if I'm going to put my money down on anybody to lead the league in receiving yards, I'm going to go with Julio Jones because he did it last year, 1,677 yards. But also, the Falcons, they have 13 games inside a dome this year. But here's the other thing. I'll take touchdowns, Antonio Brown's 15, over receiving yards any day of the week. Let's keep the comments flowing in here on YouTube. Go to Cam's Life, spelled with a K. Good, because if it was with a C, I probably would have blocked it. Do you think him and Carr have a great chemistry or still need to work on it? So, Cam's Life, I think it's funny that you asked this question because all reports right now around Antonio Brown that him and Derek Carr, They're great friends. So I love that you put this in here. So it's good shout out to you. Right now, Derek Carr, he spoke to the media earlier today, and he was like, Antonio Brown and I are already, like, building that chemistry. And that's one of the reasons why you're seeing viral videos of their kids working together. Like, Antonio Brown and Derek Carr all offseason have been working together. And we know that chemistry is huge, especially in a game like football. But it's also important because Derek then is going to look for Antonio Brown. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember watching videos like when I was a kid growing up of like literally Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison doing routes together, where Peyton would have his eyes closed and be able to hit Marvin Harrison on the route because they knew exactly what was going to happen. That's the kind of chemistry that I want between Antonio Brown and Derek Carr. So how many touchdowns is Derek Carr going to have? I want you guys to fill in the blank, okay? Fill in the blank. He had 15 last year, so I want you to think about that. How many touchdowns for Derek Carr this year, his first year with the Raiders? You got it? You got it? All right, Jose, what you got for me? How will Antonio Brown celebrate his first touchdown with the Raiders? How about this? How about this, all right? I want you guys to comment below what you think. However Antonio Brown celebrates his first touchdown, I will do the exact same thing on the Raiders Report. What do you guys think? Is that cool? Would you guys want me to do it? I can put out a video. I will do the exact same thing. Did you guys see my video where I'm doing it like the Antonio Brown brick challenge? Did you guys see that? Yes? No? Hopefully you did. Jose, it's a good question. Let's go to Andy Hermida. Hopefully I got that one right, Andy. More of Mayock move or more of a Gruden move? The Antonio Brown. I actually think it's more of a Jon Gruden move. So Jon Gruden came out and said that he thought Antonio Brown was the hardest working dude. But Mike Mayock also did say that he was trying to build around Derek Carr. I still will say, though, I think it's more of a Jon Gruden move because if there is one thing that I know you're going to get from Antonio Brown, it's fire, and I know he's going to bring that hard work ethic, and I think that's one thing that Gruden really, really wants to teach a lot of these younger players is if you work hard, even if you don't have all the tools, because Antonio Brown, remember, he's got a big chip on his shoulder for a reason. He wears 84 for a reason. A lot of teams passed on him, and now he shows up every single day, and he brings it. So, Andy, I think it was more of a Gruden move. Looks like I got a super chat from a Raider 84. So shout out to you for the super chat. I appreciate it. How many yards will 84 get this year? I say 1,650 yards this season. I'll say I think my projections came out to 1,248, I think is what it came out to. Hey, you guys might be like, Mitch, that's super low. I just think it's a different kind of offense. Like the Steelers last year were second in the league in passing yards. I think if the Raiders really want to be the team that they want to be, they're going to throw the ball less, run the ball a little bit more, keep the defense off the field. A balanced offense is what I want. When the Raiders were really good, 12-4, they were one of the most balanced teams in the NFL. The Raiders want to be a balanced team. Yards are good. But I would much rather have 1,200 yards and like 12 touchdowns than 1,650 yards and like 7 touchdowns. So it's a good question. But and also thank you for the super chat. I got another super chat. Oh, Blake, raise the roof. 2 super chats. I like it. That's like back-to-back home runs. Think AB will turn out like Randy Moss in 05. I'm going to say no. And I'm going to say no because I think they're 2 totally different players. I think Antonio Brown's skill set and Randy Moss's skill set are just 2 absolutely different players. So, I'm looking at that. Randy Moss in 2005, shout out to Dylan, 60 catches, 1,005 yards, and 8 touchdowns. I think that they're different players in the sense of like, Moss was always that guy that could stretch the field, right? So, if Brown has only 60 catches, I don't think he gets even close to 1,000 yards. I think if we were looking at that, I think AB is going to be around like 90 catches for 1,284 yards and like 9 touchdowns. So, but it's a really, really good question. Let's go to Raider Al 916. I almost said 1916. God. Do you see us doing with Ben what Ben did in Pittsburgh with Juju? Take the defense attention on AB and throw to Tyrell Williams. I think Tyrell Williams and Juju are receivers that are just 2 totally different to be able to compare. I do think AB is going to take attention away from Tyrell Williams. He's going to take attention away from basically everybody. But he's not really comparable to Juju. I don't think he's going to go out and put up 113 or 111 catches, whatever Juju did. But I do think Tyrell Williams is going to have a good year, hoping for 1,000 yards. Looks like we got another super chat coming in from Al Davis, but looking like Mark. Al, Mark, if you guys are spending money on my show, I appreciate it, but I would rather you guys invest money in the team. Mitch, I wanted to give you my box seats next year in Vegas, but Downey told me you probably won't want them, so here's $5. Go pay your light bill on me. Well, I guess I still technically need a penny, because $5 and $4.99, my math isn't good, but I don't think that they're the exact same thing. Anyway, I appreciate the super chat, and if you guys want to just donate me more money, my Venmo is also at Mitchell Renz 365. So, I did this Antonio Brown mailbag, and I like that we continue to be able to do these here. And I want you guys to tweet at AB84 the link to this video. I love the fact that you guys do this stuff. I saw that you tweeted at Chris Warren. He might not like that one anymore. But I want you guys to tweet at Antonio Brown. So at AB84 the link to this video. Can you do that? And if you do that, at me as well, at Mitchell Renz 365, at Chat Sports, and we'll share it as well. So tweet at AB the link to this video.
Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.